morning, everyone, and welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated and turn in your liturgy books to page 2 for the morning liturgy practice. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham saranam gacchami. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the harmony of relative and absolute. You'll find that chant on page 5 of the liturgy book. The harmony of relative and absolute. The mind of the great sage of India is intimately conveyed from west to east among human beings are wise ones and fools, but in the way there is no northern or southern ancestor. The subtle source is clear and bright. The tributary streams flow through the darkness. To be attached to things is illusion. To encounter the absolute is not yet enlightenment. Each and all the subjective and objective spheres are related and at the same time independent, related yet working differently, though each keeps its own place. Form makes a character and appearance different. Sounds distinguish comfort and discomfort. The dark makes all words one. The brightness distinguishes good and bad phrases. The four elements return to their nature as a child to its mother. Fire is hot, wind moves, water is wet, earth hard, eye see, ear ears hear, nose smells, tongue tastes the salt and sour. Each is independent of the other. Cause and effect must return to the great reality. The words high and low are used relatively. Within light there is darkness, but do not try to understand that darkness. Within darkness there is light, but do not look for that light. Light and darkness are a pair, not one, not two, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Each thing has its own intrinsic value and is related to everything else in function and position. Ordinary life fits the absolute as a box and its lid. The absolute works together with the relative like two arrows meeting in midair. Reading words, you should grasp the great reality. Do not judge by any standards. If you do not see the way, you do not see it, even as you walk on it. When you walk the way, it is not near, it is not far. But if you are confused, mountains and rivers block your way. I respectfully urge you who study the mystery, do not pass your days and nights in vain. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the 6 worlds and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to Katrina, Pete, Mike, Shindo, Kaijo, Cindy, Sokai, Roger, Debbie, Stephen, and Wesley. May they have peace and healing. Herb Fultz, Ellie, and Joseph Birch at the time of their deaths. Those whose names we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, mahaprajna, paramita. Dharma school participants, you are excused for Dharma school, and everyone else, please prepare for Zazen. Please stand for our welcome meditation, Kien Hymn. Coming from the center, the first and third rows, at the sound of the clappers will turn to your right. Second and fourth rows to your left. We'll now recite the Song of Covenant, which can be found at the top of page 8 in your liturgy book. We, the Daishin Kokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated for today's Dharma talk. Sit comfortably and position yourself so you can see the teachers. We will recite Gatha on opening the sutra at the beginning, which is also on page 8 of your liturgy book. Gatha on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Thank you very much for being here. It seems winter has finally made an appearance, eh? This weekend, we had a long weekend. We had a retreat. And the particular shape of retreat is pretty well set. You know, the schedule is like so. The different positions that need to be filled are like so. And yet, for all the sameness that you would look at if you were looking at this at a spreadsheet, what's supposed to happen and when, each retreat very much has its own quality and its own character. And that was really evident this retreat. Now, you might be wondering, gosh, who's going to give the talk today? And what are they going to talk about? And you might not know that actually you might be the one giving the talk today. Yeah, for real, because we're going to do what's called wisdom from the Sangha today. Wisdom from the Sangha, yes. So what that means is that there's an invitation, not a requirement, but an invitation to those that have participated in any chunk of the retreat. We have the handheld mic. Eka will be bringing it around. And the invitation is for you to share something of your experience of the retreat, to voice aloud in your own words some snapshot of what the hell happened, or what occurred, or what something that perhaps moved your heart, or a teaching that landed, whatever really you have to share. That is appropriate for the setting, knowing full well that this is being live streamed. Right? I'll say no more. But really, a chance, an invitation, really. Now, if for some reason you would just rather not, when the mic comes your way, you can simply pass it along. There's no requirement here. But it is an encouragement to give voice to your experience, not just to those who were there, but to those who maybe have never been on a retreat and wonder what terrifying things happen there, or how often the massages and spas happen. Maybe you can help clarify for them and yourself and each other. So we'll go around. I'll ask Eka to start around here, and it'll mosey around to Reverend Setcho, and then to Sensei and myself to conclude. And finally, we need someone with a ruthless sense of time and a bell to keep comments to maybe a minute and a half or so. Ankin will do the job nicely. Something like a minute and a half. So please state your name. My name is, share what you have to share, and when you're done, conclude with I have spoken, and then we all acknowledge together in Gasho. And please turn so you can see the speaker.
Hi, my name's Leanne. I learned to be gentle with myself. I have some neurological issues that make sitting still and silent for long periods of time very difficult, and I resorted to old military training of I'm going to push through and plow through, even though I can't remember how to count right now. I don't remember my breath. And Do-on very gently reminded me the importance of the breath. That was the entire purpose of sitting here. It wasn't to push through. It wasn't to plow through the experience. And that can be very humbling, especially when you don't want to admit it as like feeling like it's a weakness. So I think this session taught me to not power through, but to embrace the experience. And as Jukai reminded me, resting is also part of the experience. And so that was what I learned. I have spoken. Thank you.
My name is Mike. I just want to thank everybody at Session or here today, watching, for their support. At Session, even if it feels like you're, I don't know, not contributing or messing up or having a hard time, you know, there's support all around you, and it's helpable. And I thank everybody. I've spoken.
My name is Bansho. This session was my first after Jukai, so it was a different experience than the first time. I had said something offhand to Kensei, I don't even remember when, where I had said, you know, I'd really like to get more involved. Yeah, I don't even remember saying it. Should have been more mindful of my words. So I learned a lot in this particular session, not only from Kensei, but from others who helped me with things that I thought I knew, but truly I didn't, like my posture and my breathing and my focus and so on. And so it was very, very difficult experience for me this time, but I often say the struggle is important. So I'm going to take my own advice. And thank you. I have spoken.
Hi, my name is Kokai. I think for me, like coming to session and being able to practice, like having the collective practice of the Sangha there, right, is really helpful. And also something that, Rinsen had mentioned as far as like 10,000 things coming into one, but like where you can just give yourself up to the schedule, and actually get into practice, right? Focus on your breathing and not try to, have everything else circling, right? You can let that go and really focus on the practice itself. And I think that's the nice thing about returning to it. And then personally, I've noticed that the more I come to, the more I'm able to take part of that back into the rest of the world outside the walls, right? That it applies more to daily life with the practice. So I have spoken. Okay.
My name is Michael. I learned to vary my number of cushions and positions to protect my knees. And a useful analogy I learned today or yesterday was like when you're focusing on the breath, it's kind of like you're driving where the things around you appear, but you're focused on like the road. So similarly, your breath, you might still have thoughts appearing around you, but you can always return to your breath. Yeah, I have spoken.
Hello, my name is Yucho. And this session, I did the kind of new format Wednesday night to Sunday morning. And I found the extra full day of this Wednesday practice moving into open sky, where we're kind of rolling on our own tempo on Thursday, to be really fruitful. We talk a lot about how the 20 minutes a day keeps you going, but the sesshin takes you deeper. And this is the most time I've ever spent in a session, and I really saw the quality of the finished product of coming out of sesshin. I know it can be a little daunting, but I would really encourage anybody who wants to take their practice deeper to do what you can to make space for sesshin, because it will change your practice. And then a really important takeaway that I think is worth sharing for this audience is that I was reminded that my practice, while it's very much focused, like it is for all of us, on you, it's not just about you. It's about all sentient beings, and your work on the cushion extends to all sentient beings. And so it's worth it because of what you can bring to the world with your practice, and you can dedicate the merit of your practice every time you're on the cushion to help others, which I found a powerful motivation, and I hope you do too. I have spoken.
I'm Soko. I think, what's really important to know about session is that it's such a safe container. It's not cozy by any means, and it takes us to our edges and brings us to a place where we can start to see different facets of ourselves that maybe we can't. We've created coziness in our life that we won't ever get to see that unless we're here. So I think, a lot of us are afraid to step in and go the first time, but we've all felt exactly what you're going to feel. And, the container holds us while we feel all that, churning. And we're all kind of having the same experience. And it's collective. We can do it together. And that's what makes it so beautiful. I have spoken.
If you're interested in speaking, put your hands in Gasho. Thank you.
My name is Kensei. I was the Tanto and the monitor at this session, so my practice was back here on this cushion. And I think there's been a lot of really beautiful expressions already about session, and I'm sure there'll be many more. So I just want to share a beautiful scene from this morning. The zendo was very dark, mostly lit only by the candlelight, and the rows were full. Everybody was deep in practice after 3 long days of intense practice and letting the schedule hold them. And we did the verse of the Kesa, and the sky was just starting to brighten, just the first brightness. And everybody either had a physical Raksu on their head or otherwise had a Raksu on their head, and there was one vast robe covering the zendo, and it was incredibly beautiful from the back. Thank you. I've spoken.
My name's Sohan, and one of the best things about session is we get to practice in this great space with all the other folks that are doing session too. And there's something about being here that the way session is set up, you don't have to think about what your schedule is going to be like. Well, when am I going to eat? When am I going to take a nap? When are we done with this? You don't have to think about any of that. All you really have to do is your practice. And so I think the best part about session is where we get to do it and who we get to do it with. Like we've all gone through beginning instructions and we know how to meditate. And so you can come here and just practice that. And it gets better and it gets better. Every time you do it, it's just like dunking tea bag in a teacup. The tea gets a little darker each time. And so I would recommend session to anybody that walks through these doors. And another great thing about session is one of the features of session is Dokusan. It's where you get to have private interviews with our teachers. And they are really good at fine-tuning your practice and like keeping you going in the direction of really the direction you want to go in, which is to sit and skillfully and attain warm-hearted spaciousness and peace and chill out and calm down and all the good stuff that comes from being here. I've spoken.
My name is Sertaj. Similar to some other experiences I've had, and I think others have spoken about this too, it takes a little time to settle in. And I distinctly remember fighting that and then realizing, oh my gosh, there's only so much time left. Like, I really got to get this down. Like, that urge of, oh my gosh, it's going to end. There's only so much time. And then I remember Friday night, it was like this second to last sitting session. We were about to sit down, and then for some reason my mind was just like, let's freaking go. Just letting go of that battle against, like, oh, do I really want to be here? Is this the right time? Like, you trust it because you know like that will go away. But that like accepting that battle and kind of settling in is always a fun experience. I've spoken.
My name is Ankin, and when Roshi said this session had a particular character, I think that was really true, and a lot of what contributed to that was almost every single person was doing something new. We had a lot of new people at Open Sky. A lot of the officers, including our Tanto, it was their first time or they're new to that role. And then all the other positions were new. And plus now we have new Oryoki. So, and everybody just stepped in and stepped up. We have this idea in Zen of beginner's mind, and it was the beginner's mind that you're always open to learning something new. And I think that was really on beautiful display at this session, and it's something that we all step in to learn things that are new that make us nervous or we have anxiety about or that we didn't want to do, because we all create session together, and that helps make sure that we can bring more people into session in the future, and it's really important. So thank you all for that beginner's mind. I've spoken.
My name is Daijin, and I started practicing on Thursday morning, what we call Open Sky, where it's unstructured from the morning until the evening when the Shishin begins. And I was the wake-up person, and the timekeeper, which is called the AM Jikido. And so no one had to wake themselves up, but I had to be the person to wake up, which was it felt like having a calculus exam at 8 o'clock and you have to wake up and no one's going to wake you up. And then this morning, everyone received an extra hour of sleep, which I had to be aware of, or they would get a little upset. And I almost, there's a period where there's the wake-up bell at 5:45, and then 20 minutes later, then I strike the Han, so people can enter the Zendo. And I was a little absent-minded, and I almost struck the Han as the wake-up bell. So even though I've been assigned this position many times, each time is a new assignment. So thank you. I've spoken.
My name is Chikai. This was an incredibly powerful session, and one of the things that contributed to that was in this beautiful space and on these beautiful grounds, the blanketing of snow that we woke up to on Thursday morning just was so powerful, and the snow throughout the weekend, and then the wind and the sounds of the wind and the moving of the building with the wind. and the cool air coming through the Zendo. There's something just so palpable in how that supports our practice too. The design of the Zendo is so that we kind of experience whatever's going on outside, and it's just beautiful practice. Everyone that did something new this session, there's such a beauty in that. Ankan was talking about beginner's mind, and there's that heart of compassion that also not only do we have for one another in how we're held, but we grow in having it for ourselves. And I watched across the several days of session that there was kind of this tension, maybe prickliness that any of us brought, including myself at the beginning. And by Saturday night, there was just this, just still. And it's how it was this morning. And there's something in experiencing that, I'm utterly exhausted and want to collapse, and I already long for the next session. And it is that where we arrive to on Saturday and Sunday morning, that process that we all grow together. And just one last thing is that I feel so held by every single person that attends session. And I think for folks who are here for the first time or early, that you need to know that your being here is also a part of what holds my practice, that it's not just the people who have more experience. I've spoken.
My name is Zenmyo. Growing up was not safe for me to make mistakes, so making mistakes is really hard for me. And I came in on Friday, and I made 742 mistakes, and then we had breakfast. Session for me is it's not comfortable, but it is safe, and I'm most grateful for how much I'm held during session through my mistakes and through my correct actions. I never got that growing up, and I'm getting that now, and I really appreciate that. I have spoken.
My name is Kai-Jin. I also came in for Open Sky, and I felt that that was a really critical place for me to land because it gave me a day to begin to settle into my body and to begin to be able to be present with everyone in the room. And I didn't notice 742 challenges. What I noticed was how completely kind you are and how completely kind everyone was in this space. Thank you very much.
My name is Elizabeth. I've wanted to attend a session for a long time, so I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Being able to be here in person with a room full of people chanting and sitting is a very different experience. And I had no idea what to expect. And there was something timeless about letting the schedule carry you. At a certain point, I just stopped looking at the schedule and the bells tell you to sit or to rest or to eat. And I've never meditated this long before, and there's something so deep about what I experienced. Thank you. I have spoken.
I was not at this session, but I can't help myself because session is so
so important in my life. So forgive me, I'm talking out of turn. Because, I mean, as a Shokin student, as someone that's been doing this practice for a while now, anytime anyone starts talking about sesshin, it of course like brings up a lot, right? Because it's done so much for my life, the people I exist with, so many people that are just don't even understand. So I guess when I think of sesshin, even though I'm not there, the experience is so vivid in my mind because it's what we talk about when we take Jukai of finding that refuge. And my experience of sesshin is not something you can think your way into. This practice is not a thinking practice. As you can tell by everyone communicating today, we're trying to put words to something that we can't actually. This is something that is a body experience. It is a whole body engagement. And sesshin is this harbor and where you experience that. It's not something we think, it's something we experience. And I can't go to the grocery store and experience it in the same way, or even in my own room with, my altar lit or anything like that. So, on Saturday we sit later and it's dark and there's candles and it's you and your practice and the comfort of being in this very intentional space, and it's palpable. And once you are brave enough and willing enough to sit in that, it's just a taste you cannot forget. I've spoken.
My name is Setcho. I think that it doesn't necessarily matter if it's like your 14th year, or maybe it's your first session or first day at the temple today. Welcome. But the question comes, how the hell did I get here? And, the question starts to become, how did I get here? Like, how fortunate am I? Like, what the hell did I do that I got here? I got to this safe space. I got to a place surrounded by people who will love me no matter who I am. Teachers who will teach me no matter what I am, right? My breath that is always there for me no matter where I am. How did I get so lucky? I have spoken.
My name is Delon, and I was at Sesshin. One thing that I remember quite vividly is when Anken threw open all of the windows. And there was so much breeze and air coming in that Bancho's hair was just blowing back as if she was on the deck of a ship and we had all turned towards one of the poles. I wasn't sure which one. That happens to be probably one of my more vivid images of the retreat. Let's see. Most of the retreat for me is spent in the Dokusan room. And it's just this incredible, meeting of one Buddha after the Buddha after another Buddha. And Roshi was talking about, in his talk, about the trainer who's wielding the whip has to be well trained, right? And I think in this case, well trained means that you can just see the Buddha in whatever student comes before me. And I don't know, it's an extraordinary experience. That's all I can say. And it doesn't matter whether the person, it's their first time walking in the door or their like 10,000th time walking in the door. It has this timeless quality, and it's always pointing towards like the fundamental goodness of the person and the Buddhahood of the person. And I just, wow, what a gig, right? I feel very lucky. I have spoken.
My name is Rinsen. So, the session ship has landed. In the beginning, I said, it's time to drive the 10,000 things into one. In the tradition of Buddhism and many cultures, 10,000 is a number that stands in for all the multitude, all the many things. So we take some time, whether it is the 20 minutes a day, into our own practice to drive into the one, or if we're fortunate to have the causes and conditions and the gumption to all align, that we dive in a little deeper, then we do so. But then there comes a time where we need to let the 10,000 things rise again and to maintain the one as we encounter them. So as this moment comes to a close and we enjoy a meal together and say our goodbyes and move into whatever karmic unfolding awaits you, please take this one with you and use it. You can never use it up. Bring it with you, whether you're going to Alaska or Perrysburg. And realize it's all just you. It's all you, it's always been you, and it's a delight to practice with you. Thank you, everybody. A special thank you to Reverend Secho. Well done. This retreat, Reverend. Well done.
All right, it is time for the Bodhisattva bows, but we have students here today. Does this class, the Dharma class, have anything to share? No? Okay, shall we do the clapped Bodhisattva vows? Pardon me? All righty. So that you can find the sung version on page 8 of your liturgy book, underneath the chanted version, which is a little more energetic. So.
I vow to wake all the beings of the world. I vow to set endless heart to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. I vow to wake all the beings of the world. Yes, I do. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. I vow to wake all the beings of the world. Yes, I do. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way.
Thank you, everybody.
A few announcements.